G'day there folks, it's Connie here again, and we're back with some more stories from Reddit. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Anyway, as always, hit like and subscribe and all that stuff, and let's get straight to the stories. Alrighty guys, we're starting on Am I the A-Hole? This one was written by user Cotton Candy Dragons, and it's titled, Am I the A-Hole for telling my brother-in-law that someone is going to punch his girlfriend one day? My older sister recently got married to her longtime fiancé. They are polyamorous and both have a separate partner each. I've met my sister's boyfriend a few times at holiday events and he was really nice. My brother-in-law's girlfriend, we'll call her Sally, I've met once before at their engagement party and she seemed nice, but she also seemed like the type of person who wants to be the center of attention. She talked over everyone, insisted on helping my sister open any gifts they received, and she even told people that she's the reason my sister and my brother-in-law were getting married because she's officiating the wedding. It all rubbed me the wrong way, but as long as my sister and brother-in-law were cool with it, who was I to say anything? Things did get a little weird towards the end of the party, however, because Sally got pretty drunk and started very loudly proclaiming how monogamy was ruining relationships and was disgusting, that the only reason people aren't open with their love is because they are scared, insecure, jealous and controlling. This made most of the people left at the party visibly uncomfortable, and most left soon after because she wouldn't stop, even after my brother-in-law took her aside and told her to calm down. I was helping my sister clean up from the party when Sally started questioning me about my stance. My boyfriend had to work, so he wasn't at the party. My sister tried to squash the discussion, but Sally ignored her and asked again. I very calmly explained that I tried polyamory once and quickly realized it wasn't for me, and that I was now in a very happy monogamous relationship, but totally support non-monogamous relationships. Sally started to say something, but my sister very firmly told her that she was drunk and to go lay down. She rolled her eyes but did stomp back to the bedroom. My sister then explained how Sally was usually very nice but did make being poly her whole personality, which has caused problems before. Flash forward a few weeks later to the wedding itself. Everything went great. It was beautiful and everyone seemed happy. During the reception, my boyfriend and I were talking to my mum, and Sally approached us to say hi. She's met my mum quite a few times, and my mum is the type to love everyone. My mum reintroduced me and also introduced my boyfriend. Nothing seemed off, we all said our pleasantries, and that was it. A little later, my boyfriend went to get some drinks for us while I danced with my sister. It was taking him longer than I expected, so I went to go looking for him. To my surprise, he was being cornered by Sally near the drink table. His back was literally to the wall, and every time he took a step away from her, she would step closer. She was also rubbing his arm in a flirty way. I couldn't hear what she was saying to him, but the relief on his face when he saw me told me everything I needed to know. The only thing I did hear was her whining, "Oh, come on." I walked up and grabbed my drink from his hand, which finally made her take a few steps back. I asked what they were talking about, and she very bluntly and flirtatiously replied, "I was just telling him how much I love gingers." My boyfriend obviously is a ginger. I simply told her, as calmly as I could, to stop being a frickin' C-word, and there were plenty of single people at the wedding she could hit on. She said something back, but I was already pulling my boyfriend away and didn't hear nor care. The rest of the night was uneventful other than normal wedding fun. A few days later, my brother-in-law texted me to say I needed to apologize to Sally because flirting with people is part of her personality and she didn't do anything wrong. I told him that one day she's going to come across someone less nice than me and she's going to get her crap rocked. My brother-in-law thinks I'm being petty and an a-hole. My sister and mum think I was justified and that Sally was being disrespectful. Wow, the absolute least Sally is being is disrespectful. It's giving the same energy as vegans who make veganism their whole personality, except this time it's polyamory. Here's an idea. How about you do what you like and I'll do what I like? Let's go to the comments. Flirting with people is part of her personality. That's not a personality trait, that's a choice. Flirting with non-single monogamous people who don't want it is a sexual harassment. Not the a-hole. I am less nice than you, but my husband, who is frickin' gorgeous and gets hit on a lot, is even less nice than me. He scared off my ex-best friend so badly after she propositioned him that she hasn't popped her head back up in 20 years, and he did it all by using his words. It was glorious. Edited to add, yes, flirting with anyone who does not want it is harassment. I figured that was obvious and added the details to fit this particular case and what I would have said to Sally. OP replies, "My poor boyfriend is so socially anxious. He just kept telling her, no thank you, even when she wasn't asking a yes or no question. I told him that he doesn't know anyone kindness, especially if they're making him uncomfortable, but he just wanted to get away from her, and I get that." OP comments on why she thinks Sally did it. "It definitely felt like she was targeting me specifically, and my boyfriend became a casualty and victim. Part of me feels like she secretly wanted me to cause a scene and potentially ruin the wedding, but that could also just be me overthinking. This whole thing has also just made me look at my brother-in-law in a whole different light." Yeah, it's hard not to think that way, that's for sure. OP gives a short update. "I talked to my sister and brother-in-law. We're going to get together tonight along with my boyfriend and have a sit-down conversation about this. According to my sister, who read the text exchange between brother-in-law and Sally about the situation, crap isn't adding up. Brother-in-law wanted to invite Sally so she could defend herself, and I absolutely vetoed that. I was not going to have my boyfriend's harasser in the same room as him. I'll update once I know more." Another comment says, "Not the a-hole, and I can't wait till this becomes a best of Reddit updates post. Nice to see an OP challenge bullcrap in the moment rather than being walked all over, then feeling their boundaries stomped. Come to Am I the a-hole to question if their feeling was right, and that if they stood up for themselves, they wouldn't have been wrong. Sorry that this predator cornered your partner. No idea what brother-in-law sees in this nutcase. Best of luck, OP. Thanks for sharing too." OP replies, "Thank you. I really hate letting things linger when it comes to conflict. I told my sister about the incident the day after the wedding and thought that was that. My concerns were known and my boundaries set, but now knowing Sally's story magically doesn't match mine nor my boyfriend's, I want to get to the bottom of it." Okay, now for a bigger update, the next day. "Sorry about not posting last night. I needed some time to collect my thoughts. Also sorry for the length. I tried to stick to the most important details, but alas, I failed a bit. So, the day after the wedding, I told my sister about what happened. She waited until they came back from their honeymoon to tell brother-in-law. Brother-in-law texted Sally about her side of things, and I now understand why he was so mad. Sally told him that all she did was tell my boyfriend he was cute, and I overheard, lie number 1, and went berserk, and yes, called her a see you next Tuesday, but also said a lot of terrible polyphobic things, lie number 2. I was shocked that my brother-in-law, who has known me for 10 plus years, would honestly think I would say something like that. Keep in mind that he's only known Sally for 6-ish months, and he admits she has lied to him before. We got Sally on the phone to hear her side firsthand. Instantly, my sister clocked that the story she wrote in text was different from what she said on the phone. I said certain things, and then I didn't say those things, then I said other things or did other things. At one point, she said I pushed her, but then it became I just reached for her. The whole thing was a mess. And before the Reddit police come for me saying this was an interrogation and we were putting pressure on her and she was scared and that's why her story kept changing, my boyfriend and I literally didn't talk unless asked a direct question. My brother-in-law had a baby voice the whole time and called her sweetie and baby. My sister was polite but direct to all of us, which I'm not surprised because she hates drama and just wanted to get this over with, lol. Anyway, after the back and forth, Sally admitted that she did only remember me calling her a see you next Tuesday that night, but that, quote, if I said that, I must have said other things she just couldn't remember clearly. Honestly and truly, what the hell? She also still insisted she only called my boyfriend cute. But Missy ma'am, you just sat there for 45 minutes lying. Why would I believe the words of a known liar over my boyfriend, who to my knowledge hasn't lied to me in the whole 3 years we've been together? Make it make sense. After we hung up, my brother-in-law apologized to us. He said Sally sounded so hurt in the original text that he automatically jumped to me underplaying the events, and my boyfriend overplaying the events. He's not sure if he'll break up with her, which personally I think is a little crazy, but whatever, that's his prerogative. Luckily, my sister and him don't throw parties or events normally, so even if he stays with Sally, I doubt I'll ever see her again. Probably not the satisfying ending everyone wanted, but it's what we have. Thank you to everyone who sent support and kind words during this bizarre time. Yeah, geez, good luck to the brother-in-law with this battle axe. Some final comments. Lol, brother-in-law is absolutely not going to break up with that woman, and it's going to cause him more problems than it's worth, but that's his decision, I suppose. Imagine being freshly married and your husband's girlfriend has harassed your sister at your own wedding. Oh, and you hate drama. I'd tell him to kick her to the curb or ask him if he knows how to spell annulment, because believe you me, I can absolutely use it in a sentence for you. I'm sure this will work out just fine. He's known Sally for 6 months and she's the officiant for the wedding. I'm struggling with the choices here, and none of this seems like they're giving marriage the respect it deserves. This isn't a poly thing. This is just an immaturity thing. I was already wary from her not accepting that what works for her isn't necessarily meant to be a global standard, but then the lying, harassment and manipulation too? Brother-in-law should run. No, yeah, it's totally just jealousy and insecurity to explain why everyone isn't just poly like Sally. The fact that pants-on-head insane people like her existing is not at all relevant. Sally's probably using a strident poly superiority complex to cover her own fear that she would never find someone capable of committing to her monogamously, or the fear of the vulnerability of making that exclusive commitment herself to another. If she was secure in her poly attachments, she wouldn't feel the need to sneer at monogamy. The only value she sees in it is being permitted to get whoever she wants, whenever she wants them, and that sense of power is where she derives her self-worth. Yeah, hard to argue with that assessment. Just sounds like an all-round exhausting person. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. Otherwise, we're leaving that story there, and we're moving on to the next one. Okay, jumping over to relationships. This one was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, I need to tell a good friend that she smells. I've known her for 6 years. I met her in my freshman year of college. We were roommates in college for 2 years. I don't have best friends, but she's one of my closer friends, and she's one of the nicest, most empathetic people I've met. However, this means she's also pretty sensitive. The issue is that she is overweight, and she smells a lot of the time. It ranges from a slightly musty smell to a bad, sour milk smell. It's because she doesn't shower often and doesn't do her laundry often. I know because I lived in the same room as her for 2 years, and the smell was heavy in our room. It came from her laundry, her bed, her shoes, everything. The smell lingers on her and the things she owns. The blanket she uses, her desk chair, and her car even smells musty and strange. When she does shower, the bathroom ends up smelling musty instead of like shampoo. I'm not sure if she uses much shampoo even when she showers. I haven't lived with her in a few years, but I believe her habits are the same because I know her roommates and they complain about the smell. It's gross, and normally someone like this would turn people away, but she's very likable and has a huge social group because of that. Everyone knows about her smell, and sometimes we will talk about it. We have even discussed telling her, which would be the right thing to do. But the longer we wait, the harder it is to tell her. It's a mild annoyance to us, but she's an amazing friend, so it doesn't affect any of our friendships with her. However, my friend has been more or less unemployed since we graduated college. It is partly because she isn't sure what to do, but I'm sure she's losing job prospects due to her smell. A job opened up at my workplace and she wants to apply. I want to help her and she needs the job, but I can't recommend someone who doesn't have personal hygiene. I know the right thing to do is to tell her, I think she'd be good at the job, but it's for a position in an office, and it would not be okay for her to come in smelling like she does. Even if she doesn't get the job for other reasons, I want her to be aware of her hygiene so that she has better chances in the future. She is sensitive and will definitely be embarrassed, as anyone would. I just need help on how to tell her. Right now, I'm thinking of saying, hey friend, I think that you would be good at the position my boss is hiring for, but there are a couple things that I think are important to tell you. You sometimes smell like sweat, and I personally don't care, but it's important at my workplace. So if you could shower more frequently and make sure your work clothes are always clean, then that would help a lot. I don't want that to come off the wrong way. I would just like you to get the job. Does anyone have a better way I can break it to her lightly, but still get the point across? Yeah, that's definitely going to be an awkward conversation. To be honest, the real tragedy is not letting her know about this sooner. Or maybe people did and we just don't know. But yeah, is there a way to do this without making her feel bad about herself? Let's go to the comments. Option A. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but whatever you're using to shower smells pretty bad. That way, you tell her she smells without making it seem like she is the problem. She should clue in that she needs to step up her shower game. Option B. Hey, listen, I love you, so I'm going to be honest. You smell like sweat, and your clothes smell musty. If you show up to the interview like that, they're not going to take you seriously. My husband did some managerial training, and one of the case studies they did was about having someone on your team who smells and how to deal with it. The best way, from how he learned it, and I agree, is to do something like option 2. Sit her down in a private place, tell her, I've noticed you smell like sweat and I wanted to tell you. I think the most blunt, truthful, and the most private, and only her most trusted friend should do this, is the way to go on this. Of course, she's going to be offended, but she seems like a lovely person and a good friend, so she deserves to know that she has every chance at happiness and opportunities that come her way. I was in your position once. I simply asked my friend what deodorant he uses. He confessed that he didn't use any as he was concerned about the aluminium content. He asked me if he smelled, and I said yes, and that his clothes also smelled bad too. It was a little awkward, but he was very grateful. I took him to Lush Cosmetics and we chose a natural deodorant. I told him that he has to wear a clean t-shirt every day. I've never smelt him since. I made sure to tell him when it was just the two of us, and I didn't make it into such a big deal either. Yeah, some good ideas there. Okay, onto an update. 10 months later. It's been a while since I asked for advice on telling my friend she had a strong body odor. It didn't get a lot of attention, and it was a good result, so I forgot about it. I believe I called her the night I posted, and pretty much told her what I said I was going to tell her. I let her know that I really wanted her to get the job, and then asked her if she knew she smelled, in a more tactful way. I can't remember the exact words. She said she did know, and the conversation went from there. She didn't give me the exact reason why, and I didn't ask. I mentioned that since our work requires a uniform, I wear mine a few times before washing because it's an office job and I don't sweat. She should be washing hers often if she got the job. She was thankful that I brought it up with her. I followed up with talking about the job and giving her other advice about applying. She actually did end up getting the job with me, yay, and has become more hygienic. She's still not the cleanest, but she doesn't smell like she used to, and her car and room don't have the same heavy odor. To be honest, I forgot for a while that we even talked about this, and almost forgot that this was even an issue before. I don't think she really remembers either. It was a fairly easy conversation once I told her, and it didn't change anything about our friendship. I wish I'd told her sooner, but I'm glad I did tell her. Kind of a boring update, but a good one. Yeah, the boring updates always turn out best for everyone. And some final comments. I don't think she really remembers. Either I guarantee you she absolutely does. Opie says, I'm sure she does, or else she still wouldn't be cleaner now. I meant that it was a really straightforward and easygoing discussion, and we both moved forward right away. I doubt she thinks about it all the time, and if she does, it's probably in a positive way to remember to be cleaner. It hasn't affected our friendship at all. Poor phrasing on my part. She's probably grateful to have an honest and caring friend like you in her life. You had enough faith in her to not only recommend her for a job at your company, something that would reflect on you, but to help her take care of a very sensitive issue and do it tactfully. Good for you, AP. How have your other friends responded to the positive changes? She replies, I'm glad she was understanding of what I was telling her and that she took it seriously. Our friends have noticed she doesn't smell as much anymore, and they're happy that she's been more conscious of her hygiene. Shortly after it happened, people told me that the change was noticeable in a good way. No one has really spoken of it since, which I consider to be a good sign. I'm glad you told her before she applied and that she's sticking with it. My mother has always had poor personal hygiene. She smokes, has dogs, doesn't do laundry hardly ever, and rarely cleans her house. She was working for a church in a small office, and her boss had to pull her aside after a couple of months and inform her that her odor was offensive. They gave her some extra cash for dry cleaning and a $400 gift card to buy some fresh clothes. But she was beyond offended. She couldn't believe they told her that. She did freshen up her wardrobe and began cleaning her clothes more often and showering every day, but that only lasted for a few months. Opie replies, different people respond differently, I suppose. I would definitely like it a lot less if it was someone from my professional life telling me as opposed to a friend or roommate. That was very generous for them to provide the money and gift card, but it was taken the wrong way. It was something we tried telling her, but she didn't want to listen. We even gave her perfume for every holiday one year, lol. But you're correct. Some people just don't take it the same way. Just a reminder to everyone, if your clothes smell bad even after you wash them, you might need a detergent booster with grease-cutting enzymes. Some people have very oily sebum which builds up on clothes and absorbs smells. Most modern detergents don't have enough surfactants to cut a lot of grease and don't contain lipase, which breaks down oils. I use Biz Powder, which is $6 a box at Walmart, and is the only thing I've found to get BO out of my preteen kids' clothes. Other people have had access with ammonia, but I avoid it because it can cause pets to start marking laundry baskets, etc. Alrighty folks, so we're going to leave that one there. Where else are you going to get crazy relationship Reddit stories and helpful laundry tips? You're welcome. Anyway guys, as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And that's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.